Here's your wrestling news for January 17th, 2026. Your headlines for today include LA Knight's Raw absence finally explained, return rumors addressed. Eagle-eyed fans watching SmackDown spot hidden clue behind Jacob Fatu attack. WWE quietly cuts Drew McIntyre chants from SmackDown broadcast, real reason revealed. Solo Sikoa pays the price after shocking SmackDown twist. WWE star's sudden absence forces WWE script change. TNA steps up to Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown. WWE revives explosive rivalry from another promotion after 11 years. Sami Zayn survives brutal test against Ilja Dragunov, and more. Fans who tuned in to Monday Night RAW last week were expecting the return of LA Knight, but the Megastar never appeared. New details have now clarified why. According to a January 16th update from Fightful Select, Knight was ultimately not brought to Germany despite being listed on internal WWE travel documents ahead of the show. While early internal plans indicated that Knight was scheduled to fly overseas for Raw, those plans were quietly scrapped before the event took place. Knight has been absent from WWE television since December 8, 2025, when he suffered a cracked sternum following a brutal attack by the Vision and Bronson Reed. WWE later confirmed the injury on the December 15th episode of Raw, stating that Knight would be sidelined indefinitely. Although he did not appear in Germany, Knight remains listed internally for Royal Rumble week, signaling that WWE is still preparing for his return. With the Royal Rumble fast approaching and reports indicating that WWE has major plans for Knight in 2026, his comeback appears to be a matter of timing rather than concern. Do you think WWE should save LA Knight's return for the Royal Rumble to maximize its impact, or should he be brought back sooner? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. SmackDown opened with a special entrance for the new Undisputed WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, complete with bagpipe players and a custom Tron. London treated McIntyre like a hometown hero, celebrating him as the first British WWE Champion with massive ovations and chants as the entire arena rose to its feet. Once inside the ring, McIntyre flipped the tone. He unloaded on the fans for abandoning him when he was released, for staying silent when CM Punk screwed him, and for failing to back him during Roman Reigns and the Bloodline's reign. He then dropped a key revelation stating that Cody Rhodes has no automatic rematch clause. McIntyre claimed Nick Aldis had it written into the contract ahead of the title match, forcing Cody to start over from the bottom. The segment was interrupted by Randy Orton, who received a strong reaction from the London crowd. Orton once again made his intentions clear. He wants the WWE Championship. Before that confrontation could escalate, Jacob Fatu stormed to the ring and immediately attacked McIntyre, completely ignoring Orton. Fatu chased Drew through ringside and into the crowd, ending the attack with a brutal ring post spot that reinforced his raw, relentless presence. That left Orton alone in the ring, where The Miz struck from behind to set up the night's opening match. Orton vs. Miz was a familiar, well-paced contest between two veterans who know each other inside and out. Orton picked up the expected win with an RKO, though Miz suplexing Orton onto the announce table stood out as a moment where he briefly turned Orton's own offense against him. With the victory, Orton advanced to the Saturday night's main event Fatal 4-Way to determine the next #1 contender for the WWE Championship. Later backstage, McIntyre crossed paths with Ilja Dragunov, who made it clear he has his sights set on the undisputed WWE title. Drew, still shaken from Jacob Fatu's ambush, fired back with a pointed line saying he didn't knock Fatu's teeth out, but promising he would do exactly that to Dragunov. The exchange added another layer to the mystery surrounding Fatu's attack and kept McIntyre firmly surrounded by looming threats. Did you notice Randy Orton's reaction when Jacob Fatu made his way to the ring on SmackDown? Eagle-eyed fans certainly did, and it sparked some speculation. As Fatu entered and immediately targeted Drew McIntyre, the camera briefly caught Orton's expression shift, looking more concerned than confident. That moment has led many viewers to believe Orton may be connected to the mysterious attack on Fatu, even if Fatu himself doesn't realize it yet. Drew continues to firmly deny any involvement, but WWE storytelling often lives in subtle details, and Orton's body language stood out in a big way. This wouldn't be the first time the Viper has been positioned as the unseen hand behind chaos. If the reaction was intentional, WWE may be quietly laying the groundwork for a much bigger reveal. Did you catch Orton's reaction too? Do you think Randy Orton knows more about Jacob Fatu's attack than he's letting on, or are fans reading too deeply into it? Sound off in the comments. Another notable moment came during Drew McIntyre's championship celebration. As McIntyre posed in front of fans at ringside, the music faded out and the crowd broke into a loud chant of "Oh, Drew McIntyre," clearly embracing the new champion. Interestingly, portions of the chant appeared to be muted on the broadcast. The reaction only intensified when McIntyre addressed the crowd and said, "I prayed for this and it happened." That line sparked another strong response, with fans loudly chanting, "You deserve it," further blurring the line between McIntyre's on-screen heel role and his organic crowd support. Whether the muted audio was intentional or coincidental remains unclear, but the moment highlighted a familiar WWE dynamic, McIntyre continuing to receive babyface-style reactions despite being positioned as a heel champion under Triple H's creative direction. Do you think WWE should lean into Drew's natural crowd support, or is the company right to keep him firmly in a heel role for now? Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. A chilling promo aired tonight from the Wyatt Six in response to Solo Sikoa stealing the Wyatt Lantern. Bo explained that Solo doesn't truly understand what the lantern represents, making it clear that it was never meant to be a weapon. He clarified that the Wyatt family carries the lantern through the darkness so that the darkness does not carry them. That line alone introduced an unsettling idea. Without the lantern, could the darkness now consume the Wyatt Six and give rise to an even more dangerous version of the group? Later in the night, Solo Sikoa addressed that exact point in a vignette of his own. Solo admitted that Bo was right, claiming that when he looks into the lantern, he sees millions of fireflies, the legacy, and even Bray Wyatt himself now standing with him. He doubled down on that symbolism during his entrance for his match against Damian Priest, carrying the lantern to the ring, spitting in place, and blowing out the flame, directly echoing Bray's iconic imagery. Chaos followed as expected. The Wyatt Six emerged mid-match, targeting both Solo and the lantern. Uncle Howdy nearly reclaimed it, but Solo managed to stop him. That momentary distraction, however, proved costly as Damian Priest capitalized and advanced to the fatal four-way. Howdy briefly recovered the lantern afterward, only for Tala Tonga to snatch it back on behalf of the MFTs. It was later confirmed that next week the tag team titles will be on the line when the Wyatt Six collide with the MFTs in a 2-on-2 showdown. How are you feeling about this feud so far, and do you like the direction WWE is taking with the Lantern storyline? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair had a brief backstage run-in with Lash legend and Nia Jax before heading to the ring for a tag team match against Julia and Kiana James. The bout felt noticeably more competitive than their recent encounters, which worked in its favor. Julia and James wrestled with more aggression than they've shown in recent weeks. While there were a couple of rough moments, the match largely delivered solid action. That aggression, however, didn't translate into a win. The former tag team champions picked up the victory when Bliss connected with Sister Abigail on James. The post-match chaos followed quickly as Legend and Jax stormed the ring and attacked the winners. Julia initially looked ready to go after Jax for getting involved, but James stepped in, talking her down and physically holding her back to prevent things from escalating further. There were also subtle issues brewing between Bliss and Flair heading into the match. Bliss appeared to question the legitimacy of Charlotte's illness from last week, while Flair seemed frustrated with Alexa for pursuing championship opportunities in her absence. Charlotte made her stance clear, stating, "I've put multiple title opportunities on the back burner because this team is my priority." The illness was reportedly serious enough that WWE was forced to significantly rewrite the show's script shortly before it went on the air. The eventual split between Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair has long felt inevitable, and moments like this suggest the cracks may already be forming, even if the breakup isn't imminent. Storyline-wise, we may have seen Flair miss SmackDown last week, but according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Charlotte Flair's absence from SmackDown was not storyline-related or part of any creative swerve. Instead, Flair was legitimately ill. The illness was reportedly serious enough that WWE was forced to significantly rewrite the show's script shortly before it went on the air. SmackDown saw Cody Rhodes address several lingering issues following his title loss. The London crowd gave him a noticeably mixed reaction, which appeared to catch him off guard. Some fans chanted his name loudly, while others booed just as emphatically. Rhodes stated that he is entering the Royal Rumble with the goal of becoming just the second man to win the match 3 times. He also made it clear that he hasn't forgotten last week's events, stating that he still owes Jacob Fatu a receipt for the attack. More on that a little later. The next qualifying match saw Trick Williams take on Matt Cardona, and the London crowd made its feelings clear right away. Williams received a massive reaction, one of the loudest of the night, a response that only strengthens the case for WWE fully backing him on the main roster. The matchup itself was an intriguing contrast. Williams is still finding his footing on the main roster, while Cardona is working to re-establish himself after spending several years away from WWE. Because of that, the outcome felt genuinely unpredictable, with both men making sense as potential tournament advances. Cardona put up a strong fight and had moments where it looked like his experience could carry him through, but Williams ultimately prevailed, earning the win and advancing to the Fatal 4-Way. Williams continues to build momentum, and judging by the reaction in London, the crowd is more than ready to see what comes next. After the match, things took an odd turn when Kit Wilson suddenly appeared and attacked Cardona before posing for the crowd. The moment felt abrupt, but the audience clearly enjoyed the antics of London's own, reacting positively as the segment came to a close. Kit Wilson was still in the ring after the commercial break and delivered a brief promo, declaring himself the solution to what he called WWE's toxic masculinity problem. The segment didn't last long. Jacob Fatu stormed out and quickly shut Wilson down, leveling him with a series of signature moves. Afterward, Fatu turned his attention to Cody Rhodes, bluntly telling him to come get some. Rhodes answered the challenge immediately. The two started throwing punches as chaos broke out, forcing security to rush to the ring and separate them. Moments later, Nick Aldis made it official, booking Rhodes versus Fatu for Saturday night's main event next weekend. With tempers already boiling over, the stage is now set for a high-stakes showdown. Carmelo Hayes issued another open challenge for the US title this week, and TNA's Leon Slater answered the call. Hailing from the UK, Slater received a warm reaction from the London crowd as he made his way to the ring. This marked the first time Hayes and Slater had ever shared the ring, yet the match felt anything but unfamiliar. Their similar athletic styles created instant chemistry, making it look as though they'd been working together for years. Midway through the bout, Carmelo Hayes appeared to land awkwardly on his left leg, but pushed through and continued the match. The pace remained relentless, and by the time the commercial break ended, both men were visibly worn down. Once again, the US title match stole the show on Friday night. Hayes has long proven himself as one of the most reliable workers on the roster, but his recent run of title defenses has firmly established him as one of the most complete all-around wrestlers in WWE today. Despite continuing to sell the injured leg, Hayes fought through the damage and ultimately put away the Young X Division champion to retain the US title. The finish saw Hayes counter a superplex attempt into a cutter, sealing the victory in impressive fashion. With a performance like that on such a big stage, do you think WWE is already eyeing Leon Slater as a potential future signing? Tama Tonga had his sights set on the United States Championship dating back to Ilja Dragunov's reign. During that period, Tama was frequently shown in backstage stare-downs with the Mad Dragon, teasing a potential confrontation. However, despite the tension, he never stepped up to answer one of Dragunov's open challenges. At the same time, Shinsuke Nakamura also made his intentions clear, earning a US title opportunity of his own, only to come up short. That history came into focus on tonight's episode of SmackDown when Nakamura found himself confronted backstage by Tama Tonga. Tama reminded Nakamura that he already had his shot at the United States Championship and failed to capitalize. He then stated that his own pursuit of the title will come once his faction captures the Tag Team Championship. Nakamura responded with a pointed warning, suggesting that Tama is no longer the man he once was during his time in Japan, and cautioning him about trust within WWE, going as far as to say that even family cannot always be relied upon. People change for better or worse, Tama. You're the latter. You're quite different from how you were when you were in Japan. You'll understand eventually. You can't tell who your true allies are here, not even your own family. With tensions continuing to rise between the two, it remains to be seen whether Tama Tonga's long-awaited pursuit of the United States Championship will finally materialize, and whether Nakamura may stand directly in his way. Before though, it looks like WWE is quietly building toward a Tama Tonga vs Shinsuke Nakamura showdown. The next match featured Chelsea Green squaring off against Jordan Grace in singles competition, with Alba Fire accompanying Green for backup. From the opening bell, Grace, the Juggernaut, asserted her dominance, taking control early and delivering a delayed vertical suplex as Jade Cargill looked on from ringside. The bout itself was brief, with Grace decisively picking up a clean victory after hitting her finisher. Cargill, however, appeared unimpressed by what she had seen. Capitalizing on the moment, Grace grabbed a microphone and issued a direct challenge, daring Cargill to defend her championship right then and there. Tensions escalated when Green attempted a sneak attack from behind, only to miss her target and collide with Cargill instead. The miscue allowed Grace to stand tall, posing confidently with the title before tossing it back to the champion, sending a clear message as the segment came to a close. Do you think WWE is setting up an inevitable title showdown between Jordynne Grace and Jade Cargill, or was this just a warning shot from the Juggernaut? The brutal main event saw Ilja Dragunov go one-on-one with Sami Zayn, with Zayn emerging victorious after a hard-hitting battle. The win officially puts Zayn into the Fatal 4-Way, and it immediately fuels speculation about what could come next. A potential Sami Zayn vs. Drew McIntyre WWE Championship match in Saudi Arabia is exactly the kind of marquee bout WWE has leaned into before. However, the final statement of the night came after the bell. As Zayn celebrated, Trick Williams struck, laying Zayn out in a post-match attack. Trick stood tall to end the show, making it clear that Zayn's road forward is far from clear. Overall, it was a genuinely entertaining episode of SmackDown, delivering strong in-ring action and storyline momentum heading into next week. How did you feel about this week's SmackDown? Which segment stood out the most to you and why? Sound off in the comments below.